Childhood sweethearts, wait for me to grow up and then let's go. Thank you for listening to stories at Pink Meow Meow Audio. Hope you enjoyed the story. My name is Annie. Since I didn't know how to brush my teeth without putting toothpaste on my nose, Daniel already knew how to tie a shoelace. We have been neighbors since we both wore overalls and walked around the apartment complex. My house is on the 3rd floor. His house is on the 4th floor, right above. The cement stairs have hidden the many times I fell flat on my face. And he is very good at coaxing. Stand up. No pain. It hurts because I'm stupid. I was not ashamed then. Now thinking back, I just want to dig a hole to bury myself. When we were kids, we played with everything together. Teddy bears, Legos, even a water turtle that my mother called the silent killer because it once bit my hand while Daniel just shrugged and said, I was the one who tickled it first. We were married when we were 8 in the apartment playground with toy rings as our rings and the security guard's dog as our witness. I was the bride wearing a white lace dress borrowed from a Barbie doll set, and he wore his grandmother's red shawl, looking like a shaman in character. From now on, you are my wife. Then you have to wash the dishes. No, the wife has to do that. I graduated too. And so I got divorced the next day just because he cut off my doll's head to make a bionic superhero. The parents of both sides are so close that they don't need to give each other lucky money during Tet. They just give it to the 2 children. If I don't sleep at Daniel's house on the weekend, no one will worry because his house is my second home, and vice versa. Whatever I have, you have. Whatever you have, I will try to get. Like the time I took your superhero toy and you yelled at me. Girls also like to be grateful to their father. I replied firmly, I am not a girl, and then ran home to tell Mom crying because of being bullied. When he entered middle school, I was in 4th grade, and the gap started to form. He no longer ran around playing tag. He is busy studying, busy doing homework, busy being an adult. I still went to his house, but instead of playing games together, I could only sit by his side and watch him write, occasionally asking him a few questions. And he answered absent-mindedly. I used to hate that feeling. Hate that my best friend is leaving me. I hate that I can't understand what you're studying anymore. I hate how my heart beats strangely every time he strokes my head. I once asked my mother, Mom, what should I do if I like someone and they don't play with me anymore? Mom smiled. So you've grown up. You grew up faster than I thought. In high school, you were almost 1.8 meters tall, thin but strong. Your hair was a bit messy like you just woke up, but it strangely suited you. The seniors looked at him like he was seeing light at the end of the tunnel during the semester exams. As for me, I'm still the little girl Annie, who loves cotton candy, hates math, often forgets her notebooks, and likes the girl with pigtails. When I asked him if he liked anyone, he just smiled and wouldn't tell me. I pout. You are mean. He pinched my cheek. Yes, ugly to only me. I didn't understand why my heart was beating so fast at that time. I just thought it was because I ran up the stairs too quickly. Every time I'm sad, whether it's bad grades or being angry with my best friend, the first person I go to is still him. I cried once because my best friend unfriended me on social media. He said nothing, just gave me a chocolate bar and sat next to me all evening. The yellow light shining on his cheeks made me want to cry more. You don't have anything to say? I asked. I think listening to you is enough. Do you mind if I answer that? No, never for me. At that time, I just thought it was lucky to have him. I didn't know that there was someone who had been silently by my side throughout my youth. As long as I turned around, I would always see him there. Until I was 17, I still thought Daniel was an obvious part of my life, like mother's cooking, like a cup of milk every morning. I have not yet realized that what is too familiar will sometimes be forgotten. Back then, his parents joked that if our son married the girl from the next door family, we would save on wedding expenses. After listening, I just frowned and replied, "You marry a scholar? No way! He doesn't know how to cook, and he's also good at teasing you." My mother laughed. "Be careful, daughters. What you hate, God gives you." My father was delighted. "That's great. No need to marry your daughter far away." As for him, he was peeling an apple and didn't say anything, but I saw the corners of his lips curl up. Only later did I know that at that time, he was thinking, "No way? Then let him prove you wrong for the rest of your life." When I was little, I always thought that we would be like that forever. Forever sharing candy together, forever playing family, arguing, and then making up. Forever two children living in a world with only each other. But time passed. I grew up, so did he. Feelings were no longer as simple as before. And then when I was 17, he confessed his love. But that's another story. And I will tell you one day when my heart is ready to remember. There are people who come into our lives gentle as a breeze, but then silently remaining like the air, invisible but indispensable. When I was 17, Daniel was already a freshman. He studies at a famous university in the city, about 40 minutes by bus from home. But even though the geographical distance is so short, it feels like we're worlds apart. He has new friends, new schedule, a new environment, and I am still Annie in 11th grade, going to school in the morning, coming home at night, working part-time on the weekends at a small milk tea shop near the apartment complex. Actually, I started feeling uneasy the summer he graduated from high school. He received a scholarship to college, his parents were happy, and the whole neighborhood was proud. He was busy preparing documents, studying English, and going on extracurricular activities. I don't know what to do other than quietly follow his Instagram, counting every time he posts a story, even if it's just a picture of a cup of coffee or the rain outside the window. I got used to you being there, and now you're not going to be there anymore. I tried to fill the void with other things. I started liking someone, a senior, a cool basketball player. He once lent me his umbrella on a pouring rain day, smiled, and called me his cute little sister. I saved his name in my phone as Passerby B, handsome version, and every time I passed by the sports field, I tried to accidentally appear. Daniel knows. Even though I never told him, one day while I was sitting in my diary, writing, actually drawing hearts around the name of Passerby B, he suddenly texted, "Are you clear this Saturday?" I replied immediately, "Free? What's hot?" "Daniel took me to a birthday party." I was bewildered. Whose birthday? Daniel? My brother? Is it true? I forgot my birthday. Saturday night, he waited for me downstairs in the apartment building, wearing a simple white shirt, holding a small paper bag in his hand. You are still you, but there's something about you that makes me feel a little strange, more mature, more handsome, and a little dangerous. Come on, princess. I'm paying today. Dad will pay, but no sashimi. I still can't forget the stomachache last time.
Okay, whatever you eat today, as long as you're happy. I blushed slightly. I don't know why the word princess coming out of his mouth doesn't sound choral at all. We went to a small restaurant in an alley near the university. It was not fancy, but quiet and cozy. I ordered kimchi fried rice and egg rolls as usual. I choose spicy noodles. They both avoided looking at each other as the food arrived at the table, as if they were attending their first adult party. After eating, he took out a small box from his pocket. Inside is a hand-carved leaf-shaped wooden hair clip. My name is on the back. Pediatric? You do this? Yes. Rosewood. He studied engraving at the school's crafts club. Wait, do you have to buy gifts for people when you're in college? I poke. Yeah, especially when that person... special. I looked up. His eyes looked at me for a long time. No blink, no dodge. "I like you," he said. At that moment, the world seemed to stop. I thought I heard wrong. I thought you were joking. I thought my heart was beating fast because of spicy food. "What?" I laughed. "Kind of unbelievable. You said you like me? Pediatric? Not in the neighbor type of way, but I really want to be with you." I looked at him, my hand tightening on the hairpin, not knowing what to do. Part of me wanted to nod, but another part was afraid. I smiled and scratched my head. "I don't know. I'm still young. Besides, he knew I liked someone else." He was silent for a moment, then nodded very lightly. "You know?" "Why?" "I just want you to know that there is someone who is always here. Wait for me no matter how long it takes." I didn't answer. We went home in silence. On the stairs, I walked ahead. He quietly followed behind like he had all these years. I turned around to say something, but he just smiled and patted my head, then turned and went upstairs. Gently, tenderly, but there was something like a goodbye. That night, I put the hair clip on the study table next to the photo frame of my childhood. In the photo, I was crying, he was hugging me, his face covered in cake. That photo, both parents always called it the first wedding photo. I laughed, but somehow my eyes were wet. I didn't know that the confession that day was the beginning of a quiet, persistent, and steadfast love that I could never forget for the rest of my youth. I always thought that nothing could change the friendship between me and Daniel. We had been through so many sunny summers, so many cold winters, so many times we argued, made up, and got angry over trivial, childish things. But after just one confession from him, everything seemed to fall into a state strange. It's not that you've changed, nor that I don't love you anymore. I'm just confused. And when people are confused, the first reflex is always to avoid. I started to proactively keep my distance, no longer texting him about school, no longer asking him out for snacks every weekend, no longer intentionally passing by his house to borrow books, even though I know I never read past page 5. He didn't ask, didn't blame, didn't demand answers. Still kept up the rhythm of sending midterm exam notes, sending cute cat clips every night, sending pictures of a newly opened milk tea shop with notes. This shop sells my favorite, red bean milk tea. I read everything but only liked it. I thought if I kept quiet long enough, things would go back to the way they were. We would continue to be two close neighbors, no complications, no confessions. But I forgot one thing. No one can be a child forever. The summer I turned 18, he stopped coming home as often. He got an internship at a large technology company, had a busy schedule, and only occasionally made a quick phone call to his parents. I'm also busy reviewing for university entrance exams, spending all day with books. We were so close that we wanted to get a tracking chip so we could gradually become old friends. Then I started having boyfriends. Just a guy in my class who gets along well and drives me to school and likes to listen to me rambling about random stuff. He is not as tall as I am, nor as smart, but he is very cute. I posted a picture of the two of us on social media. The dreamy lumpfish has people who make his heart flutter. 30 minutes later, Daniel texted, "Is he the one you like?" I typed and deleted and just sent a short message. Yes. I couldn't sleep that night. I don't understand why I feel empty. My new boyfriend is still good, still attentive, still takes me to school every morning, but somehow I feel like I'm wearing shoes that fit, but still have a slight pain somewhere. A month later, we broke up. No tears, no drama. I just realized that there was a huge gap between liking and wanting to be together long term. The ex-boyfriend asked, "It's because of him? The handsome guy who texts you all the time?" I laugh. No, I'm just not ready for anyone. But there is a name that keeps repeating in my heart. Daniel. On Friday night, I did so badly in my biology exam that I wanted to quit. As soon as I left the exam room, it started to rain. I stood under the porch, about to call a taxi home when Jung called. "Daniel, go out the back gate." I ran out, bewildered. He was standing there, black jacket, umbrella, holding a box of hot milk. "When did you come back?" "This morning." Knowing you had an exam, he came home early. Before I could say anything, he handed me the box of milk and gently patted my head. "It's okay to take an exam now. No one fails a few times." "Have you ever failed?" I widened my eyes. "Yes, the most painful failure was when I confessed to you." I paused, not knowing whether to laugh or apologize. In the end, I just looked at him and said softly, "Are you angry with me?" "No," he smiled. "Just a little sad. But I understand. You have a lot to go through. I just want to be there when you need me." We walked back in the rain, using a small umbrella. The rain soaked my clothes. It was cold, but my heart felt strangely warm. I realized that there were people who didn't need to do anything big. They just needed to be there to make me feel safe. That night, I lay in bed looking up at the ceiling, repeating small images in my head. He bought the kind of cake I liked. He reminded me to bring a raincoat every time it got cold. He was the first person to come to the hospital when I twisted my ankle in 10th grade. I used to think I would love someone who made my heart beat fast, someone who made me feel nervous. But now I'm starting to think, maybe the person worth being with for a long time is someone who makes me feel at peace. Every time I'm with him. I didn't love him. At least, I thought so. But my heart started to no longer be indifferent to his presence. And that's when I knew that saying goodbye to childhood wasn't just about growing up, but also about learning to look back at who was with me. Silently, throughout the years, I didn't know how to cherish. I do university, a fairly good hair school, located in the east of the city. Daniel studies in the west, nearly 40 kilometers away from me. If you go by bus, it takes nearly an hour and a half. People often say that going to college means turning a new page in life. I thought so too, but somehow every time I was about to turn the page, I saw someone's figure standing at the corner of the page, smiling and whispering, "You're on every page." The first week of school, when I was still struggling to find the dorm supermarket, someone patted me on the head from behind. "Last again?" "Oh, I told you, your inability to remember the way is incurable." I raised my head. Ching Xian was standing there, shirt sleeves rolled up, left hand carrying a bag of groceries, right hand holding a cup of milk tea.
"Did you get lost around me?" I laughed. "No, you passed by here. Just when I got lost," he said, as if this coincidence was completely reasonable. 3 days later, I met him again at the bookstore next to the school. Then a week later, he happened to be standing in line behind me at the famous Korean bibimbap shop near the dormitory. I began to suspect that the universe had a conspiracy. Did he really come here often? Yeah, his old internship company was nearby. How close? About an hour and a half walk. I widened my eyes. So was he exercising? Was he practicing being human? Or was he being unintentional? Accidental. Who? Accidentally met you. I didn't know whether to laugh or glare. In the end, I chose both. After that, meeting Daniel became a natural thing. Every weekend when I crawl out of a pile of deadlines, there will be a message. "Daniel, have you eaten yet?" "Daniel, this restaurant just opened. It has the dish you mentioned." "Daniel, buy milk tea without pearls like I told you." I used to think he was probably free. Maybe it was just a habit. Maybe I was thinking too much. But then, one time while I was studying in the library, I vaguely heard the guy next to me say, "Hey, that guy over there has been looking at you for a while. He's so handsome, he looks like he's from another school." "Oh, hey, he comes, and it's just like in the movies." Daniel put the cup of coffee down in front of me. "You study too much. Have a drink to sober up." "Did you buy this yourself?" He asked the library guard to choose for him. The whole library turned to look. I want to crawl under the table. After that day, my roommates officially prosecuted me. "You definitely haven't dated him. Aren't you in an illicit relationship? Wait, is this the type of ex who still has feelings?" I was flustered. No, we are just childhood friends. If your best friend knows you like 50% sugar-reduced oolong milk tea, it's already indisputable. Also, during that time, I met a male classmate who had a good personality, was cheerful, and liked to joke. We get along well, go to school together sometimes, and have lunch together sometimes. Daniel didn't say anything, but one day when he came to pick me up from school, I was waiting for the bus with that friend. He walked over with an expressionless face and said in a bland voice, "I've been waiting for a long time." "When did you arrive?" "When my friends and I laughed so much." "My friend greets you." Daniel nodded very politely and properly. But I know that when Daniel is overly polite, he is definitely jealous. On the way home, he didn't say anything, just played the same playlist I said I hated. I turned to look at him. "Are you okay?" "Very good," he replied, eyes still on the road. Then, after 3 minutes of silence, "I just didn't think you would be that happy with someone else. We are just friends." "Yeah, me too. You are my friend too." I turned away, not knowing what to say. My heart ached slightly. That night, I lay in bed, swiping through my phone, looking back at old messages. There was a very long text message I sent about being annoyed with my classmate. He answered in 3 words: "Listen." Once I forgot the deadline, he automatically reminded me that there were 2 hours left. "Are you a living Google Calendar?" "No, I'm the one who lives for your schedule." I started to see that Daniel was not like you anymore. One night, I came back to the dorm late. He walked all the way to the gate to give me the lunchbox. It was drizzling. He didn't bring an umbrella. Jacket soaked with water, hair matted, but still smiling as if nothing happened. "Are you crazy?" I screamed and snatched the lunchbox. Yes, crazy about someone who keeps forgetting to eat dinner like me. What if I feel sick? Then I take care of you. I don't. First time not know how to answer. In the middle of a big and bustling city, I kept meeting the same person. Not by coincidence, not by fate, but because you chose to be near me. There's a type of jealousy that is not noisy, not angry, not harsh, just a longer than usual look, a colder than usual voice, and a few seemingly innocuous sentences. Daniel is of course that type. That day, I had a group study session with Lam Kai, a cute, well-educated classmate who was good at programming, a subject that made me want to break my keyboard. We chose to sit at the coffee shop near the school. Both of them bowed their heads and worked diligently. Sometimes Lam Kai pushed my laptop toward him, corrected a few lines, and even lightly teased me whenever I made a basic logical mistake. I laughed and lightly hit him on the shoulder. "Okay, professor, I'm impressed." Not long after, someone pulled a chair and sat down at the table opposite. "You two look so close." I looked up. Daniel, black shirt, hands in his pockets, eyes colder than the air conditioner in the server room. "What are you doing here?" I startled. "Passing by," he replied without thinking. "Across here? It takes nearly 2 hours by bus from my school to here. Just happened to see the story you posted, the peak of passing by." Long Kai politely greeted him, and he nodded. I am polite because my parents taught me so. I clearly felt a slightly stuffy atmosphere enveloping the group study table. "Would you like something to drink?" "I would like another glass of milk tea." "No need. I drink spicy." "What spicy?" "Stinging eyes." I almost choked. After 10 minutes of sitting still, doing nothing, Daniel stood up. "I finished school and went home early. It's going to rain, you know?" "Yes, I watched the weather forecast." "Oh, guess the mood?" When he left, Long Kai turned to me and smiled. "Your boyfriend?" "No, it's not." I reacted like I was burned. "Oh, future boyfriend." "I don't know." I bowed my head in embarrassment. When I got back to the dormitory, I saw a message from him. "Daniel, next time in a study group, don't turn your laptop towards people like that." Daniel, it looked like she was confessing. I am speechless. "Oh my God, you watched too many movies." "Daniel, I thought you were in the movies." I bit my lip, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. My heart is beating a little fast. We had a video call that evening. He sat leaning back in his chair. Behind him was a bookshelf and a shark teddy bear, the one I gave you on your 12th grade birthday. "Are you jealous?" I asked. "Are not," he replied. His eyes never left the screen. Really? Yes. I just don't like it. Don't like anything. I don't like anyone touching my hair. Just a little touch. Well, I just don't like it a little. I was silent and suddenly felt like teasing him a little bit. So what if I really like someone else? Then I don't like stronger. I burst out laughing. The first time I heard someone admit to being jealous, but still deny it as well as he did. I don't deny it. I'm serious. I just don't have the right to be jealous yet. I stopped laughing. And for the first time in our usually playful conversation, I felt my heart skip a beat. The next day, I decided to do something rare. I took the initiative to go to his school. I brought a box of the rolled sponge cake you like. Arrived just in time for his class to end. Are you lost? He looked at me surprised. No, I'm looking for you. Why no warning? Because I want to know if you accidentally pass by my school again. He looked at me for a long time and then chuckled. Of course. I also intended to go sideways his whole life. We walked around the lake on his campus. I told him about the group assignment, about Lam Kai's love of using cat emojis in his messages, about the argument I had with my friend yesterday over food choices. He just nodded, adjusting my bag when the strap got twisted. Do you hate me? I asked in a low voice. Why ask? Because you always make me worry.
I am not a person who likes a peaceful life. When I was taken to the bus station, it started to drizzle. He took off his coat and put it over my head, pulling me close. Can't you be more careful? I am not used to carrying an umbrella, so let's get to know each other or come with me for convenience. I laughed. So what if I go with someone else? I do not stop, but I will go later. How long? Until I looked back on the ride home. I held the empty cake box in my arms. The rain had not stopped yet, but my heart was not cold at all. I began to understand that not everyone who is quiet is indifferent. Some people are jealous but don't say anything, sad but don't leave, just because they're waiting for a very small signal that Ethan is also needed. I turned 20 on an early winter day. The weather was freezing cold, but the sun was still gentle and golden like honey. No fancy birthday party, no XXL cake or sparkling candles. Just me with an essay deadline and a cup of instant noodles at 11 p.m. I think this year's birthday will pass like that. Until I was about to turn off the light, Zong's phone rang. Daniel, go down. I'm down there. I frowned at my watch. 11:21. It's drizzling outside. I replied. Are you crazy? What are you doing here in the rain? I've only done 21 times. And you want to see me on the day I turn 1 year older? I went down to the dormitory yard, quickly put on a sweater and fur slippers, looking like a panda that had been electrocuted. He stood there holding a paper bag of cookies, his jacket soaked. His hair was matted from the rain. I rushed over, annoyed. Don't you know it's cold? I know. But you also know I like the tiramisu cake at the shop nearby. They close at 12? What's so important that you have to stand in the rain to give me cake? Of course. He smiled. He put the bag of cookies in my hand. He wanted to say happy birthday to me, with his eyes. We sat in a 24-hour coffee shop for night owls and deadline runners. I gave him a tissue to dry his hair while he sat there, smiling. Do you remember when you were little, every time it rained, you would sneak into my house? Yeah. Then you used the excuse that your shirt was wet to wear mine, then secretly stuffed it in your pocket, put it in my bag, and bring it home. I searched for the hood for a whole week and thought a mouse had taken it. I laughed. Cake, hot coffee, and old stories made me feel strangely comfortable. 20 years old, child, he said, looking at me for a long time. Yeah, I feel a bit old. No, I'm just old enough for you to stop getting married. I choked on my tea. What did you say? You said if I proposed now, would you run away or ask how many carats the diamond was? I stared, not sure if he was joking or being stupidly serious. Do you know what you are saying? I asked, half laughing, half panicking. Have. I'm serious. His voice was slow. Not about getting married right away, but I want you to know,
I think about it, about going through the years with you. I bowed my head. My heart was beating a little wildly. Outside the glass window, the rain started to fall heavily. I did not answer immediately. Why? Because in my head is a series of questions. Is this love? Am I being too dreamy? Is it because I've known you for so long that I think it's not okay to be without you? We didn't say anything for a few minutes. Just the sound of rain, breathing, and the gentle passing of time. When he saw me off to the dormitory, he said nothing more. At the gate, I turned back and said softly, "What if I'm not ready? So, how long do you wait? Don't wait until you're ready or until you've made it clear." I couldn't sleep that night. I lay there, eyes glued to the ceiling, my head repeating the phrase, "I thought about marrying you." It sounds simple, but to me, a 20-year-old girl who still doesn't know how to cook noodles without forgetting eggs, sounds like too big of a promise. The next day, I received a package in the mail, which was a light beige scarf with a note attached. "From now on, don't wear wet clothes to see me anymore. Not cute at all. To Daniel." I smiled, but my heart was still confused. Confused because I don't know since when I started waiting for your text every morning. Since when do I only feel secure when I see your name on the screen? Since when do I like the way you are silent but always there at the right time? And is that love? I called him that evening. "Hello?" His voice was hoarse. Must have just woken up. "Are you still thinking about it? Wedding story?" "Yes." I just asked. If you ask, I will answer truthfully. "Yes, I still think and will keep thinking until you tell me to stop." I said nothing more. But that night, I slept much better. In my dream, I saw myself wearing a white dress running in the rain. He held a wooden hairpin in his hand and stood under the porch. "Wait for me." I moved in early spring afternoon. The weather was neither cold nor hot. The wind blew gently like someone's hand was stroking my hair. The old room had been there for nearly 2 years, filled with books, junk, and memories. Roommates packed things neatly like a professional mover. As for me, I looked like I was acting out a breakup scene in a movie, with a box in my hand, a hat on my head, and mumbling something that was part of my youth. Then, among the pile of old books, notes filled with code-like writing, and a stuffed animal with one ear missing, I found it, the wooden hairpin. The clip has chipped paint on one side. The engraving is a bit faded, but the small children's writing is still readable. I keep the person I forgot I still have. From my 17th birthday, after Daniel's confession, I hid the clip in my desk drawer and forgot about it over time with new interests, new strangers, and vague teenage emotions. Looking back now, that tiny clip seemed to encapsulate a whole period of my youth, a period that I always thought was nothing special. But it turns out someone considered it everything. That night, I sat by the window of my new room, playing instrumental music, the warm yellow light shining on the table. I took out the clip and tried it on my hair. It was a little off, but still fit. Suddenly, a piece of old memory came back vividly, like a movie. I was 17 years old, sitting in a small restaurant next to the school, wearing a gray hoodie, holding a cup of milk tea. Daniel sat across from me, gently putting a clip in my hair. "Just after giving birth," he spoke, in a voice as light as the wind. At that time, I only felt shy. Now I feel pain. Pain because I used to take sincere things lightly. Pain because people chose to give their hearts, and I thought it was just a sweet joke of adolescence. I laughed, then cried. "Do you remember the hairpin from back then?" I typed the message and deleted it. I didn't have the courage to ask, didn't have enough courage to admit I was missing him. 2 days later, I came to school early intending to stop by the library to find some documents when I saw him, Daniel. He was standing at the back shelf, leaning over to read a foreign novel. The light shone on his angle of profile, gentle like a still life painting with a soul. I was about to turn away, but he saw me first. "Oh, what a coincidence," he smiled. "Oh, you came early?" I was embarrassed, my hand tightly gripping the strap of my bag. He closed the book and walked over. You moved rooms? How did you know? I saw you post a picture of the new dusk, the corner brighter. He winked. I took the bait. The question still echoed in my head. No say no about the hairpin. Finally, I whispered, "What did you find? The hairpin you gave me when I was 17? I stopped for a second. I thought you threw it away a long time ago. No, I keep. Just forget. So now that you found it again, how do you?"
Smaller than I thought, but more beautiful than I remembered. He looked at me, his eyes no longer joking. He once spent 2 hours carving that name and almost mistook it for Tiauhi. I laughed out loud, and for the first time, I felt a little lighter. We sat in a quiet reading corner. No one said anything more, but the atmosphere was no longer as awkward as before. As I stood up to leave, he held my hand for a moment. "Annie?" "Yes?" "I have never stopped liking you. It's just that I've learned not to let you feel pressured." My heart skipped a beat. "But if one day you turn around, I'll still be standing here." I came home and put the hairpin on the table as a sacred object. Small, old, but for me now, it is a touch point to start over. I looked in the mirror, tilted my head, and it still fit. I mumbled, "Like your feelings, never straying from my heart." Ever since the day I found the hairpin and met Daniel at the library, my heart feels like someone is gently knocking every day. Not strong, not painful, but enough for me to see that I was no longer just a close friend. I started thinking about him more. When eating, I wonder if he ate on time today. When it rained, did you bring a raincoat? When you passed by the furniture store, did this look like the one you used to carve your name on? I'm used to thinking about you, only now I'm scared. Afraid that if I take one more step, there will be no way back. Afraid that if I'm not mature enough, I will hurt the person who has patiently waited for me for so many years. I am not worthy of that love. I started to quietly withdraw, no longer actively texting him every morning, no longer RPing his stories with familiar cute icons. I even turned off notifications from his account just to keep myself from worrying too much. This kind of pretending to be cool is childish, but I don't know what else to do. One night, Daniel sent a message. "Are you busy these days?" I stared at the text and replied simply that I was a bit busy. "Daniel, okay, so when you have time, tell me." "Daniel, don't force yourself to answer if you don't want to. I understand." And that's what makes me feel even more breathless. Are you always like that? Demanding, not forcing? But it's that gentleness that makes me feel even worse about myself. One day my mother called and said, "You've grown up? Has anyone noticed?" "Why did you ask?" "Because I just met Aunt Lam. She said that her niece is studying near your school. She's very pretty. Do you want to meet her?" I shook my head. Just then, Daniel sent a sad cat sticker to our old group chat. My mother asked, "How's Daniel doing these days? I see that he still hangs out with his parents regularly." "He's the same." "I see that he's really persistent. And what about you?" I didn't answer. After the call, I agreed to go on a blind date, not because I wanted to meet anyone, but just to see if I still had a chance to fall in love with someone else. The meeting went smoothly. The other person was very good, polite, smart, had a good job. Talking is not boring. But when he laughs, I remembered Daniel. When he told me about his trip, I remembered how Daniel once helped me pack my suitcase and told me, "Don't carry sadness, the luggage is already heavy." I sat across from him, but my mind was somewhere else, where there was a boy who had never left my heart. I just don't have the courage to name that feeling. I texted him tonight. "What are you doing?" A minute later, he video called. "I thought you would be busy until the end of the semester." "I just went on a blind date," I said. "Audition?" "Yes." He smiled slightly. "Does that guy make you happy?" Hollow. I think normal is not enough to replace. "Do you think I'm trying to replace you?" "No, I think you're trying to run away." I bit my lip. Why do you always hit the nail on the head? Annie, he looked straight at the screen. I don't owe you anything, but if ever you feel pressured, remember, I'm not asking, I'm just standing here. Don't move forward, don't pull me, but don't turn away either. After that call, I cried not because I was sad, but because I knew this love was so kind. Kind enough to make a girl who's still struggling with herself like me wonder if I'm good enough to receive it. I sent him one last message of the day. I need more time. Daniel, I give you my whole life. Daniel, as long as I keep you in my frame. A week later, I passed by a used bookstore and happened to see a notebook with a wooden cover engraved with the words, "Bonds is a form of love." I bought it and started writing the first lines in it. Some people stay, even though you're not sure, even though you haven't responded, even though you're going backwards. That day, the city suddenly had heavy rain, the kind of rain that didn't warn anyone, didn't prepare for, didn't give anyone a chance to find him. I had just finished my shift at the bakery, my legs aching from standing for nearly 8 hours, my arms holding a box of cake that a customer had returned because it didn't look sweet enough. My heart is as bitter as espresso without sugar. I ran out to catch the bus just in time to avoid missing the trip, soaked and hungry. And then, as if fate wanted to play tricks again, I slipped right in front of the convenience store, fell flat on my face, and my whole body ached. Broken cake, sore butt, hurt heart. I sat down on the sidewalk, ignoring the furtive glances of passersby, muttering that I couldn't stand it anymore. Please give me a day off from being the unfortunate heroine. My phone is slightly wet from falling. The screen is still on. I didn't think much, just had time to dial a familiar name and call Daniel. He picked up after exactly 3 seconds. I didn't need to say much, just listen to me whisper one sentence. She's in pain, can't stand up. Less than 30 minutes later, I saw him running towards me, soaked to the skin, panting, umbrella in hand, eyes panicked. What's wrong with you? Where does it hurt? A sprained leg can't be saved, I frowned. He knelt down, not caring about the pouring rain, carefully lifted me up like lifting a fragile object. Stupid. Your voice is soft. Why didn't you call a taxi? I don't know who to call first, but I remember your number. I said that, didn't mean to be romantic, but his face still changed color slightly. Smiling, eyes wet, not sure if it was rain or something else. We sat in a small clinic nearby. The doctor said it was nothing serious, just a slight sprain needed to rest for a few days. I snuggled into his jacket, freezing to death. He stuffed a bottle of warm water into my hand and then used a towel to dry my hair, without saying anything. I looked at him. Familiar face, warm breath. The hands that used to stroke my head when I cried over losing my doll when I was 8 years old. Still here, still strong, still gentle. You're crazy. It's raining and you still rush out. I gently blame, but not as good as you. Calling people while tears, rainwater, and cake water blend into one. Because I know if I call you, someone will come. Yes, he nodded, he came, whether you call or not. I turn away, eye stinging. Not because my leg hurts, but because my heart aches. Are you mad at me? Why? Because you're always near and far, because you made me wait. He silenced for a moment and then spoke very softly. I thought I should give up. I'm not clear. He just stood still. Sometimes my legs get tired. I clenched my fists. But then what? Then I realized it's not that you don't want to go. It's that you don't know which way to go. I burst into tears. In the middle of the white clinic room with the sound of blood pressure monitor and the smell of antiseptic alcohol. I sat there, tears rolling down my cheeks, for no apparent reason. He didn't ask, didn't coax, just silently handed me tissue. It seemed like years ago he let me lean on his shoulder.
Annie, his voice was soft. Yes. If you are hurt, just cry. If you are tired, just sit down. But don't go alone while I'm here.
I never said I liked you, nor did I say I needed you. But that night, for the first time, I didn't push him away. I let him take me home, let him put on my shoes when my feet swelled up, let him say not to go to work for the next few days without me arguing. Let me be weak and know that someone accepts that. I fell asleep wondering why I was so afraid to love someone so good. The next morning, I received a text message. Daniel, the weather is nicer today, but you still have to rest. Daniel, put the porridge in the microwave. Remember to turn on the heating mode for 2 minutes. Don't destroy the stove. I laughed. My legs still hurt, but my heart felt light. I texted back that you really know how to make people not want to be away. And right after that, another message came to Daniel. Don't go far away anymore. I woke up to a sunny morning. The soft sunlight filtered through the curtains, spreading a warm yellow streak across the floor. My leg still hurts a little, but my head feels strange. Light. I pulled the curtain and looked out. The leafless banyan tree, after winter, begins to sprout new buds. The gentle breeze carried the scent of freshly cut grass, mixed with the scent of sunshine. Everything is normal, but my heart is not. I walked slowly to the kitchen. On the table is the bowl of porridge he left yesterday, with a note written in black ballpoint pen. If you don't finish it, I'll cook more next time. I laughed. As I took the first spoonful, I remembered his frowning face every time I skipped a meal. My stomach may not be working, but my brain is not allowed to go on strike. Eat. I eat a spoon, then add another spoon. Suddenly felt a stinging in my nose. After breakfast, I sat down at my desk. But instead of opening my laptop, I opened a folder on my computer called Lu Chu Lung Kung. In it are pictures of me and him from elementary school to 17 years old. There are old messages with some incoherent conversations like, Daniel, are you sleeping? Annie, not yet. Daniel, then go to sleep. There is an exam tomorrow morning. Hua Xiao Ni, knows, Mom. Daniel, you are my mother's future husband. I laughed my ass off back then. Now, reading it again just makes my heart beat slower. I began to realize that he was always there at the right time, always knowing what I needed. Even if I don't speak, always be ready to stand behind, no demands, no pressure. He doesn't say, I love you every day, but he buys the right kind of cake for me. He remembers my exam schedule better than I do. He quietly learned wood carving just to give me a single gift. He came in the rain to help me up when I had no strength to walk anymore. I used to think love was something intense, burning, heart-pounding, mind-blowing, but it turns out that true love is such a constant presence that we unconsciously take it for granted. And when it's gone, I realize I've been living in that sunlight for a long time. I opened my phone and scrolled through my old messages, stopping at just one. Daniel, I won't go any further if you're not ready, but I also won't turn my back unless you tell me to go. I read it for the umpteenth time. I compose a new message. Are you still there? Less than 10 seconds later, he texted back, yes, but my legs are a bit tired. I laughed, tears fell without warning. That afternoon, I went out for the first time in a few days. I stopped by a small shop and picked up a simple white and blue double cup. I brought one home to put in my house. I'll bring the rest to you. Daniel opened the door, a bit surprised. He was still wearing his old gray hoodie, his hair was a bit messy, and he was holding a stainless steel spoon half-eaten with yogurt. Did you just wake up? No, I was just about to sleep when someone texted me that I was still standing there, so I couldn't sleep. So it's because of you. He nodded and tilted his head. Standing is tiring.
I took out the gift box, which made up for my tired legs. No need. Need it or not, you have to accept it. You have packed it beautifully. He opened the box to find a simple cup with a piece of paper attached. One at my house, one at your house. Can we have tea together from now on? He looked at me for a long time. He put down the cup and walked over. I stand still, not running away, not retreating, and for the first time, I took the initiative to hug him. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "Why?" "For making me wait so long." "Not long," he squeezed gently. "There is nothing like waiting too long for the one you love." I looked up into his eyes. He once said, "If I propose, you'll run away." "Yeah? Are you still going to run?" "But we'll run towards you." He paused and laughed, the smile that melts my heart. "I've been waiting for this. It's been a long time." That night we sat together on his balcony, 2 white cups, one containing hot tea, one containing chocolate. The weather was still cold, but my heart was warm. No one said much, only the streetlights sang down on his shoulders, and I knew that from today on, I didn't need to think about whether I loved him or not. I had loved him for a long time. It was only today that I dared to say it out loud to myself. There are things that don't need to be said out loud, but should still be said. Like the fact that Daniel and I, from childhood to adulthood, both implicitly understood that we were special to each other, that we could not be replaced in each other's hearts. But if no one said it, if we kept believing that we already knew, then that feeling would forever stand still like a door, just waiting for someone to knock. And today, I wanted to knock. I didn't tell anyone in advance, just holding a small box. Inside was an apple pie I made myself, using the recipe my mother sent me, and maybe the amount of sugar was wrong, along with an old hair clip that I had cleaned and polished again. I arrived at Daniel's house in the afternoon. The sky was sunny after many days of rain. The sky was so clean and clear that I could see myself in his gaze. If he opens the door, he opens the door without surprise, without astonishment, just a smile. The kind of smile that seemed had been waiting for me since yesterday, since last month, since I was 17. Someone came to return the old hair clip. I held up the box. He thought I lost it. He tilted his head, squinting slightly. No, I just hid it so carefully, I almost couldn't find it again. He leaned aside to let me in. The apartment was the same, books neatly stacked, tea brewing, and a small cactus pot on the windowsill was blooming. We sat on the sofa, no music, no TV, nothing to do. The other's presence was enough to make everything complete. "Homemade cake?" he asked after taking a small bite. "Yeah, if you don't have a stomachache after eating, you should marry me. I have been planning to marry you since you were 17, he replied, very softly. At that time, I didn't even know how to boil water. "It's okay, I know." We were silent for a few seconds. The silence wasn't uncomfortable, but rather like he was counting his heartbeat to gain momentum to say something big. Finally, I took a breath and put the hairpin on the table. "I came to pay you this. I told you you can keep it to yourself. But now I want to return it as a promise, because this time if you give it back, I will wear it and never take it off again." He did not answer immediately, just looked at me for a long time. "Are you sure?" His voice was soft like sunlight through the curtains. "Yes." I nodded, because I like you too. I never thought that sentence would be so light when said. No shaking, no practicing in front of the mirror.
Because when feelings are deep enough, saying them is just the last step. There is nothing to fear. I like you too. I don't know exactly since when. Maybe it was when I carried you home from the bus station in the first rain of the season. Maybe it's when you patiently proofread my presentation at 3 in the morning without a word of complaint. Or maybe I've liked you for a long time, just won't admit it. He's still looking at me, but this time I saw his eyes were wet. I thought you would say that later, so I'm still slow, but not too slow? Or not? He smiled softly. You came just in time. I've never seen anyone walk at the right time like you. I reached out my hand. He took it as a reflex. I looked at his strong, wide hand, which had held my hand when we were young, when we crossed the street, when he had supported me when I fell, when he had held me tightly when I was at my weakest. Now, that hand is holding me, as if never letting go. This time, if you take a step back, I will pull you back. Yes. I nodded, but I believe you will not back down anymore. We had dinner together that night. He cooks beef noodles simply, but better than any restaurant. I cleared the table clumsily, but it was as fun as the first time I played house as a kid. We talked like usual, but the difference was that there was nothing to hide anymore. Do you still have the gift box I gave you in middle school? I asked. That blue wooden box? Yes. In it is a letter I wrote forbidding you to read it if you haven't married me. You haven't read it yet. Is it time? Okay, but after reading, don't criticize my handwriting. We sat down together and read each old piece of paper, smile like back to 13 years old. As he folded the last page, he turned to look at me, his voice low. Little one, yes, let's try dating. Officially? All these years, it's just a trial? No, I'm serious, and you must have just joined. So I would like to apply for the role of girlfriend. Without trial, I married Daniel at the age of 8. The wedding was held in the playground under the apartment building. I wore a white dress borrowed from the Babby outfit. He wore his grandmother's red scarf and held a plastic ring in his hand instead of a toy. We had the security guard's dog as best man and melted ice cream cones for dessert after the ceremony. I told you to wash the dishes. He said, no, I have to cook. We argued and got divorced exactly 1 hour later. Now, we sit together again, also on a sunny day, in the middle of a balcony filled with light. But this time, it was no longer a game. This time, for real. After officially dating, things didn't change too much, because it has been like that for a long time. The only difference is that this time, I'm no longer shy about holding his arm in the street, no longer blushing when calling him my lover, no longer hiding the hairpin in the drawer, but wearing it in my hair every time I go to see him. And there is no doubt that this one is the last. That night, he invited me to have dinner with his parents. His mother still calls me her future daughter-in-law in a tone that I don't know if it's a joke or not. His father secretly winked and asked her if she had proposed yet. If not, tell him to hurry up, be careful, or someone else will take it away. I just smiled, hiding my face in the hot cup of tea. 3 days later, he said, "Come home for dinner this weekend." Why natural? Because I want to ask permission. What permission? I asked, even though my heart was beating a beat faster. Please let my parents marry me. I looked at him. The familiar eyes were still gentle as ever, but this time inside was absolute certainty. I don't want to wait until you're old enough, because you are enough. Enough for me to believe that you are the one I want to wake up with every morning. And so, we got married. No fancy proposal, no 7-carat diamond ring. It was just one afternoon that he and I went to choose a ring together. He smiled, "You choose, because if you choose, I'll have to wear the one with the name engraved on it and stand up strong." I laughed like crazy. The wedding was small and cozy, with close relatives and friends. My mother cried like rain. Dad told me, if he bullies you, just come back here. I nodded,
and turned to look at Daniel. The person who was scolded by his father 2 minutes ago was secretly hiding behind a lamppost to adjust his skirt. "Are you stressed?" I whispered. Yeah, it was more stressful than the university entrance exam. I was the valedictorian then. Yeah, but this time, I want to be the valedictorian's husband. The wedding party took place in soft music, yellow lights, and lots of laughter. When the MC asked how long the bride and groom had known each other, I replied, "Since we played with dolls and shared snack bags." MC laughs. "So marriage is a given." I looked at him and smiled. It's not a matter of being brave enough to turn back after years of wandering around aimlessly. On our wedding night, we didn't do anything special. We just lay on the bed together, holding hands and laughing when we talked about how, when we were kids, he used to put cream on my face to do bridal makeup. I think if you hadn't divorced back then, you wouldn't have to bother getting married now, right? Yeah, I'm teasing, but did you eat my teddy bear back then? I regret it. It's too late. So can I give you a real bear now? Well, the bear can cook. He laughed loudly and pulled me close. I pressed my face against his chest, listening to his heartbeat warm and familiar. Hey man, we don't play family anymore. Yeah, because it's real now. Actually, you have to sign a property division contract if you get divorced. Yeah, but my only asset is you. Listening to Xiao still makes my heart flutter. I close my eyes with only one thing for sure. If I could choose again, I would still want to grow up with you. And if I could love again, I would still choose the language program.